Hey guys, Mrs. Weekly here. Since we're getting more into solving more elaborate equations, I wanted to go through some examples. This is 8th grade W.12, as you can see. You can kind of see that up here. Here is an example of an equation that we haven't really gone through yet. So this is a little bit new. So whenever you have this division bar here, when it's a big division bar like that and you have something in the numerator that has some kind of quantity, not just one single number, but something more than just a single number in the numerator, that division sign acts like a grouping symbol. Okay, so it's kind of grouping the numerator. So if you want to put parentheses around it, I advise you do that. So that's kind of telling you, okay, I can't touch that numerator until I've dealt with basically anything else. So I know that typically we deal with step 1, the distributive property, 2, combine like terms, 3, that's when we do that reverse order of PEMDAS. And 4 is checking. Okay, so I don't have the distributive property in this case, and I don't have any like terms to combine on the left side or the right side. So now I'm going to be starting with going backwards up my PEMDAS. So adding and subtracting. Okay, well, I see this minus 6, but keep in mind, this division bar grouped this together, meaning I can't touch anything in there until after I've dealt with the things that are outside of it, okay? So it's kind of like parentheses, okay? So I can't touch that yet because that's not really considered that adding and subtracting yet. So since I don't have adding and subtracting, I'm going up to multiplying and dividing. So, well, I do have some division. And I have this divided by 3. So the inverse of dividing by 3 is to multiply by 3. And that's like 3 over 1. And then I got to do the same thing on the left-hand side of my equal sign. So right now I have, I'm going to come over to the side, 3 equals, now my right-hand side, well, 3 over a denominator of 3, well, that's going to give me just 1. So those end up canceling, leaving me with just that Q minus 6. Okay, remember, I always start reverse order. So I'm thinking, do I have adding and subtracting again in my PEMDAS? Well, I do, so I had to come back to that. So I need to take care of this minus 6 now and add 6 to both sides. So now I have 9 equals Q. If I want to check that real quick, let me get rid of some of this work over here to try to check. So I'm on step 4, checking. And it says, all right, so if Q is 9, so I would say 9 minus 6, well, that gives me 3. 3 over 3, well, yeah, that's equivalent to 1. So I know that this checks out, meaning Q is, in fact, 9. Oh, my goodness, I can't get to it now. All right, let's try this next one. Okay, so this is another one of those kind of weird cases that we haven't really gone through yet. So here we have negative 6 divided by f equals 2. Okay, well, if I start solving this, well, number 1, I don't have distributive property to take care of. Number 2, I can't combine like terms on the left-hand side or on the right-hand side. 3, now I'm working on reverse order of PEMDAS. All right, well, I don't have adding or subtracting, so I got to go straight to multiplying or dividing. And I do have some division here. Okay, this is saying negative 6 divided by f. Okay, I can't reverse that because division, you can't switch things up, otherwise it changes everything. So in this case, I'm going to have to move my variable first. Remember, this is kind of like a special case. I'm going to just rewrite it over here. So I'm going to have to move my variable first, which is not what we normally do. So right now it's saying divided by f, because remember I read top to bottom when I'm dealing with fractions. So negative 6 divided by f, well, if I multiply by f on each side, I can say f over 1, and multiply by f on the right-hand side to keep things balanced. Okay, well, anything in the numerator over something in the denominator, which is f over f, anything over itself is just one whole. Well, one whole times negative 6 is just negative 6. So these f's over here end up canceling out. So now I'm left with negative 6 equals 2, and I can just write 2f like that. Now, again, don't have adding or subtracting, still on that multiplication and division. So I can divide by 2, because that's the inverse of multiplying there. And f is going to be equal to negative 3. Again, if I go to check, that's saying negative 6 divided by negative 3. Does that give me a positive 2 over here? Yeah, it does. So I know that negative 3 is the correct solution for f. All right, what else is it going to give us? Well, you guys know how to do this one. I'm just putting in a random answer and going on. It wasn't 5. Okay, let's do this one. Let me get rid of some of this extra stuff. All right. Put that back up there. Okay, so in this case, we have n divided by 2 minus a negative 2. Notice I just put parentheses around it to keep myself straight. All right, so first thing, I don't have the distributive property, okay? I don't have like terms that I combine on my left-hand side. There's nothing that is alike there. And I don't have any like terms on my right-hand side. So I'm moving on to PEMDAS, going in reverse order. All right, so adding and subtracting. Well, I do have something that's adding or subtracting, but here's what I advise first. If you have this minus a negative 2 going on, let's go ahead and simplify that first before we move on. So I still have n divided by 2, but minus a negative is really like adding 2. Okay, so all I'm doing is rewriting it. I'm not changing anything right now. Well, now if I go to solve, I can say, all right, I have adding and subtracting. So I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. So I have n divided by 2 left on the left-hand side equals, well, 5 minus 2 gives me 3. Okay, well, now I'm left with n divided by 2. Okay, well, the inverse of dividing by 2 would be to multiply by 2. So again, since it's kind of like a fraction, n over 2 is like a fraction, I'm going to put times 2 over 1. But I got to keep things balanced, so I got to multiply by 2 on the other hand, or on the right-hand side as well. So on the left-hand side, a numerator of 2 over a denominator of 2 is going to give me one whole. So that's going to give me 1n, or just n. Bring down my equal sign. Well, 3 times 2 I know is 6. All right, we're on step 4. We're going to check it real quick. So we think it's 6. When I go to check that, that's saying 6 divided by 2, which I know is 3. And then it's saying 3 minus that negative 2. Okay, so that's really like adding 2. So 3 plus 2, does that equal 5? Yeah, it does. So I know that it checks out, meaning that n equals 6 is the correct solution. All right, if you guys need some more help, make sure that you email me or text me and I can walk you through some more. We can even set up a Google Meet if you need it. All right, good luck, guys.